need the clicker?
Yes, I will. Perfect. So I'm Tammy Beauregard. I'm the Director of Foundation for Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And?
I'm Barry Talmy. Is it on?
Oh, is that one mic on?
How's about this? Oh, there I am. I'm Barry Talmy. I'm the one of the pilots at STARS. I'm also the aviation base manager for the Saskatoon base. Yeah, I've been doing this for about 14 years, ever since we started in Saskatchewan.
Absolutely. So as we start, we're going to talk, and Sherilyn said, is that we're talking about today about emergency preparedness and what STARS is about and how you can help us when minutes matter most. So just to start out with, how many of you know somebody that has been flown by STARS? If you could just raise your hand, please. And has anybody been flown by STARS? So what's important about this is that for every person that raised their hand, there's probably about 14 others. And we do about just over 1,000 missions in Saskatchewan alone. In Saskatchewan, we have a base in Saskatoon and a base in Regina. We're going to roll with one video. STARS really is, and all of you out there with us that are by our sides are really in helping us in terms of donating, volunteering your time, just being with us, helping us be there. You're really helping us save futures. It's not just about saving lives, it really is about saving futures. And Dr. Powell is one of the people that really started that off in 1985. So just about 40 years or 41 years ago, he and some other people had come up with the idea because he worked in Vietnam, and he was like, yeah, you know what, we can do better. There's patients that are coming into our hospitals, into our cities that are dying or have died. And he's like, we can do better. We just need a helicopter. We need to get there faster. We need the tools. So him and some other people had rallied together with the Lions Clubs of Alberta. They raised about $50,000, because at that time, a helicopter is about $50,000, where today it's $13 million. They got a helicopter and they started being able to go out and save lives and create futures. And that's how STARS was born, is that it was a mode of transportation, but we're not just a mode of transportation anymore. We're a flying ICU. We are literally a hospital coming right to the patients. And that was 41 years ago in Alberta. Now, only 14 years ago, we started here in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And in that time, this is where we're at now. These are some of the locations that we go. We're in 3 different provinces that we actually have bases, 6 different bases: Calgary, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Saskatoon, Regina, and Winnipeg. And we
go where we're needed. And as you can see from the depiction, even though we're in those 3 provinces, we also venture into BC as well too, because we're going to go anywhere that we're asked to go where somebody's in need. So we have expertise in working in the Rockies, going into Golden, down into Cranbrook, and then out of our Grand Prairie base up north, Fort St. John, Dawson Creek. We were even in the Yukon, one mission. There was we got a call up there that our crews could manage, and we were asked to go up there. It was a mission that we flew out of Grand Prairie, and it was, to put the distance in check, it's the same distance that they flew that day would be from Calgary to Los Angeles.
So how do we get around? Because the helicopter still only has so much gas in there, fuel, and Barry's going to tell you more.
So let's go with the first click. So we've got our two bases, as you can see up there, Regina and Saskatoon. Our helicopters, we can do about 2 hours flying, and then we're 2.5 hours, then we need fuel. So there's some distances, serious distances here in Saskatchewan. So we're going to need some help. We're going to need some fuel. We need some go juice. So we've got the airports that we can tap into, and I'm told that's the second click. There we are. So those are the airports around that we can tap into, where there's some private fuel, there's some public fuel that we can grab there to go further. And then we have our own fuel caches. So this is something that we started when we first came in Saskatchewan, that there's areas where there was no airports that we need fuel to help out. And so it was an idea that was started by a fire department, and they now have the fuel trailers. We provide the fuel, but these fuel trailers, they can meet us where we need to go, where we are. They can meet us at a hospital and refuel us. They can give us fuel on a scene call. Or when we've gone somewhere and come back, and we've recently had one of the airport fuel stations did not work. So the fire department, the closest fire department, drove and gave us fuel to keep us going as to where we are. And they're absolutely amazing. It's like a NASCAR pit stop, just about as quick. These people that have the trailers, they know what they're doing, and actually, as pilots, we slow them down if we get involved, because they know what they have to do.
And that's where we say that STARS was built by the community for the community. Now you're going to see on this slide here, there's a lot of information in here. So when we talk about our bases, one in Saskatoon, one in Regina, and the other 4 bases, each base costs $12.2 million to operate each year. Now we're really fortunate here at STARS that we have our provincial governments that do help us out. They donate about approximately half of that. So here in Saskatchewan, we have 2 bases, so we are looking at over $24 million a year that we need to fundraise, and they do help us out. And then we fundraise $12.2 million every year. On the one slide there that has the maps there, you can see how many missions we have done each year. So our total last year, just over 3,600 missions. That's 3,600 families. And when you say families, patients, now we're talking times 14 people at the very least that are immediately impacted. How do we get there?
We get there in the red helicopter. And when you see us flying through the air, when you look up, there's 4 of us on board all the time. There's a minimum of 4 on board. There's the 2 pilots, then we have a critical care nurse and a critical care paramedic. Each base is roughly around 11 pilots, 11 nurses, 11 paramedics. The pilots are pretty much full-time all the time. The nurses and the paramedics are part-time, so they do have other roles in the hospitals and in the ambulances, just to keep their hands on patients. And the other person that's not mentioned there that you don't see is the transport physicians that are on call. They're actually the ones that decide which missions we go on. They're the ones that decide which patients, which aircraft, which resources needed for each transfer. We don't, as crew, we don't decide. The transport physicians do, and they can also fly with us too. If there's a practice or a procedure that they need to do, we'll pick them up wherever they are and take them to that patient.
And so this is the back of the helicopter. Barry and I weren't going to fly the helicopter here for you guys to take a look at, but you're welcome to come to the base at any time, Regina or Saskatoon, or if you're from someplace else, please do let us know. But this is a picture of what the back of the helicopter looks like. It's really cramped in there, and it's meant to be cramped in there. We carry 1 patient for the most part. Sometimes we can carry 2, not very often, but because the patient is always so critical. So inside there, We have the nurse and the paramedic and another spot for the transport physician if needed. This is some of the equipment that you're going to find that's in there as well. And remember, when you're looking at STARS, it's not a bricks and mortar, it's actually a helicopter that has a lot of one-time use items inside there. These are some of the items that are tools that we do have. So that ventilator there, we're looking at purchasing 11 more this year at $50,000 each. The laryngoscope, it's around $44,000, and each of our helicopters need one of those. Our blood on board. We used to carry just 2 units of blood, and now we carry 4 units of blood. Many rural hospitals don't have it, or when you're on the side of the road, there's not any blood sitting there waiting. We have to bring the blood so that they are able to help and stop the trauma. These are some other tools that they do use as well. This ultrasound that you see in the middle, it's super tiny. You can see, I'm not sure if you can tell, that's actually somebody's phone that they're looking at on. And so it's a tiny ultrasound that plugs into your phone, and now they can be able to send that to the doctor. Now, that, again, is around $40,000 each, and we have 10 different helicopters. So how are we dispatched?
How we're dispatched? We're dispatched by the Emergency Link Center.
Perfect. So we're going to watch a little video. You know, we could tell you about it, but honestly, this video does it better for us.
Intubated, and we've got her sedated on our ventilator. Her current vitals are heart rate of 110.
Oh, hey Lindsay, it's John from Stars Ambulance. How are you doing today?
Blood pressure of 101/70.
Lindsay, just want to bring you into a call.
Okay, let me explain what you just saw in that opening shot there. It was actually a screen recording from the editing app we used to put together a training video shot a little while ago here in the STARS Emergency Link Center.
Stars Emergency Link Center, this is John. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, John. It's Amy calling from ACAL.
Oh, hi Amy, what do you have first?
I wanted to show you a bit of it because I think it's a good example of what these people here actually do, the way they make sense of multiple calls all at once. The STARS Emergency Link Center is a lot more than just a place to dispatch helicopters.
Dr. Walker, you have the transport physician Dr. Hatch on the line. Go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Hatch.
Hey, Dr. Walker, what can you do?
So we don't employ dispatchers here, we employ emergency communications specialists because we have to link a plethora of people into various calls at different times. So that might include helicopters, ground ambulances, hospitals, doctors, physicians, nurses, air traffic control, landing zones, fire, dispatchers, 911, RCMP, whoever. And that means the helicopter can go out of the door, straight to the patient, the hospitals receive the patient, everybody knows what's going on.
Take a look at this top bar. That's John's voice, constant presence throughout the whole 6.5-minute call, with everybody else kind of scattered throughout. Here's the original caller, the acute care access line, requesting transfer for a patient between hospitals. The STARS transport physician is brought in, and he's briefed on the situation with the patient. Soon, he's talking to the doctor from the hospital that wants to send the patient. Over here, our pilots are notified. They start checking to see if it's safe to fly to the location. Down here, the Provincial fixed-wing ambulance is looped into the call. Our air medical crew, paramedics, nurses, they're looped into the call with the doctors. All of those voices are heard all at once inside the headset of somebody manning this desk. How do they do it?
It's almost like being in an orchestra, and you know the piece you have to play, but also you're aware of everybody else's part. So when you have to come to speak, you anticipate that time, you're ready for it, but you're also listening to everybody else. Next much done, standing by weather check, and be advised it's on 137.
So there's something else that I want to show you. I want to show you these doors to the STARS Emergency Link Center. Check out the slogan on the doors. It's about the patient.
And it is all about the patient for us. We have 3 things that we like to keep in the background of our minds. So time, we want to save time, do things as efficiently as possible. Time is of the essence for us. Tools, people don't think often as a map of a tool. That's a huge tool for us. Logistics, radios, formula spreadsheets, that works. And then talent, an enormous amount of talent out there. We can bring physicians, paramedics, helicopters, whoever we need to on the phone and get that talent to patients' cases.
So there you go. It's an incredible group of people all working together for the good of the patient. If you want to learn more about the STARS Emergency Link Center, check out this link. And until next time, thanks for watching.
All right, so the Emergency Link Center is basically, they're based out of Calgary, and they are control-us. They are the ones that dispatch, they're the ones that we communicate. They're in Calgary, but they take care of all the bases in Alberta and Saskatchewan. Manitoba's dispatched out of a different center, a government center in Manitoba. So the Link Center pretty much controls us from the time that they're the ones that get the call, they're the ones that send the tones to us, and then they follow us all through. They basically take our hands and lead us all the way up. They're the ones that are feeding us the information, and it is they watch us every 30 seconds. If there's anything we need, if we're going into a scene call, we have to talk to police. They're the ones that make that communication. When we have the patient on board, they're the ones that are updating us with all the information. They're the ones that are providing us all the information. When we're coming back to the hospital, our medical staff are talking to them, and we'll phone patch into the hospital to make sure the hospital is aware of who we're bringing and what condition they're on, so that the hospital is prepared for when we arrive.
And these are some of the pre-alert calls. We don't have that choice. No, we don't have that one.
Okay. All right. So basically how it works is we don't go for, STARS is not set up for hangnails. We don't go for broken arms and stuff like that. We go for the sick of the sick. So how does STARS get airborne? On a scene call, as is if something was happening on the farm or anything like that, a phone call would go into the 911 dispatch, local dispatch center. That dispatcher would then type in the particulars to the call. The call then gets rated as to severity of what the call is, and then depending on what the caller says and the severity, it'll get kicked over to the closest base for response. We then evaluate as to what the call is. Sometimes we get a call that there's been an accident, but everybody from the scene is up and walking around, and there's no injury to a critical part of the body. So then we'll kind of stand by and wait for the ambulance to show up and see if they're actually needed or not, because we don't want to launch on everything. If there's a critical body part or something like that, our medics, they've got a lot of experience, and they're going, you know what, listening to what that is, we got to go on this. So then we will then launch on that, and we're airborne in about 8 minutes from a call. And the last one is that if a first responder, police, fire, or ambulance ask for us, no questions, we're going, because they know if they're asking, we're going to go and support.
And then how can you help us? So you can help us by securing a scene sometimes, by making sure that your farms are actually secure, by making sure your fields, or if you come across an accident on a road.
Yeah. Daytime, it's not too bad. We've got pretty good visual from the helicopter on the ground. Something that if we're coming to the farm, something that stands out that make it look a little bit different, flashing lights or something, just to help us draw our eyes to where we're going. Nighttime poses different challenges for us. We fly on night vision goggles, so we're totally good. The only thing that we can't see is wires. That is really critical, because we can see the poles, so we assume there's wires, but we just can't see the wires. We're going to be talking to the ground. We're going to be talking to fire on the ground. They'll have an area land out if they're there, but if we're coming to your farm and the fire's not there, to look around to see what's below, anything that's sticking up, and look up for wires. And then when you're talking to the dispatcher, you're talking to the link center, pass that information on. That'll get to us. We'll circle around just to verify what's been told, and then we'll come on in.
So what can you do ahead of time to really look at and make sure that you are really secure for when, because unfortunately it is when, there is an emergency that might be needed? So one of the first things, Barry, what's the interactive that we can do?
So one of the big things, when we get dispatched for a scene, when the ELC dispatches us, we don't know land location. We don't know that we're just right down the road from the old Johnson combine that's been sitting there forever. We have no clue. So we get dispatched via latitude and longitude to where we're going. Everything that we do that. So if you're on the highway, if you're in the farm and you want to pass that information on to us, how do you find that? Where are you? Where is that Latin long? Well, everybody's got a cell phone. Well, most people have a cell phone. And there's an app in that cell phone that comes with that cell phone. On iPhones, it's called the Compass app. And if you take your phone out and you just take a look at it, pop it open, right there, there's the latitude and longitude on your phone as to where that phone is. So you just have to pass that information either to the dispatcher or to the link center, and that's where we're going to be coming. Works on the highways as well too. You're on the highway. Where am I on the highway? Well, there I am. So
a couple of other things that you can do is make sure that you post a copy of this longitude and latitude in your house, on the shop, in the barns. Keep copies of it in your tractors, in your field locations, your farmhouses, that sort of thing. Talk about the road names. Also, regular checks. When you're moving equipment, make sure you phone in and check with somebody. Let people know what you're doing. Equipment and emergency safety, make sure you have those things in there. So fire extinguishers, fully stocked first aid kits, anything that you can do, really farm safety.
even just driving down here today, we have a program for STARS that if I'm driving by myself as I was today, I checked in with the link center, told them where I'm going, when I'm gonna ETA for arrival down here, and then when I'm down here, I call. And if I don't make it, if the alarm goes off, that Barry should be in Regina, and I'm not, they start calling and then they start looking. So it's just small little stuff like that that we want to make sure. Today was a gorgeous drive, but other days it's not such a gorgeous drive. And if something happened to me and I'm off somewhere and nobody saw, they know that I was supposed to be in Regina.
And I wasn't going to stand up here by myself. But
I was coming for lunch.
So that's where we're at. I hope that we were able to share with you some information that maybe you didn't know about STARS. And maybe we were able to share with you some of that information that you need to have a scene ready. Maybe to get ready for if and when an emergency does happen. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Nope, that's perfect. We're going to be just hanging around there afterwards. If somebody wants to come up and want to talk, whatever, have any other questions or something may come up, I'm over on the side to answer anything that you may have. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.